Hey there everyone, it's Mike Thomas here. You guys know me as Mike from Maine, and today we're going to be taking a look at a video called How I Make Money as a College Student. Not a scam, not passive, not easy money, which it's nice to see that they're not trying to say that this is going to be like super easy and that you're going to make money overnight, which we all know doesn't actually exist. Now this is by a channel called itschloetan. She's got over 115,000 subscribers. This video has 3.5 million views on it, and it has 144,000 likes and only 1,000 dislikes. So people seem to like it. So if you guys can go ahead and give my video a like before we start here, I really appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button and bell notification. We'll give her video a like as well. And let's jump into this.
No YouTube, no social media following, no day trading, no drop shipping.
So it's like all the different things that normally we see on YouTube, like especially that e-commerce stuff. We see that all the time. So what's this all about?
So I make about $3,800 a month. This is kind of a conservative estimate because it does
$3,800 a month is actually a pretty decent living, especially online. Now, I know a lot of you, I'll ask people, how much money do you need to make online in order to be comfortable, in order to quit your job? And they're like 10,000, 20,000, 50,000. You should start out with like making 1,000 or like 3,000. That's a good goal.
Vary a little bit due to my other streams of income, such as YouTube, but it doesn't really affect the number too much, but it does range from around $3,700 to $4,000. My name is Chloe. I'm a second/third year. I'm 20 years old, student at Chicago. The first source
I was trying to figure out where she was. She's in Chicago. It's a nice backdrop
of income is obviously YouTube. I average around $200 a month from passive income mainly, with around 13,000 subscribers, and currently I believe 80 videos up.
13,000 subscribers, $200 a month. It's not great. It goes to show you that if you want to make money on YouTube, if you talk about things related to money and finance, the money that you make per view is way higher than if you just do like vlog type videos. So just pay attention to that. You can make a lot of money on YouTube, but in the right niche.
There was one month where it particularly was more because one particular video blew up. In total, got me around $400. So that particular month, it was a spike, but I didn't calculate that into this budget. And then the next thing is cryptocurrency and NFTs. So again, this is a massive variable number, but during my gap year, for example, I made about, I think $7,000, $6,000 to $7,000 in total from cryptocurrency.
Now, did she sell? Because it's way down right now. It may be way up again in the future, but that number's probably way down.
So my gap year during that time period is around 6 months. So if you average it out, it's about 1,000 per month. But again, I don't really take that into account. So the main way I make money is from teaching tuition. And let me just clarify a few things. One, this tuition occurs entirely online. I teach in groups of 3, so it's me versus 3 other students in an online format. But mostly I share my screen and kind of tutor. Mainly, I focus on English literature, high school writing, literary writing. I do some PSAT, SAT courses sometimes, very rarely. So every week I work on average 8 hours to 9.
You can teach English online, and all you have to do is basically speak English and just chat with people. You don't have to be very knowledgeable with grammar or anything like that. You can make decent money just teaching English.
9 hours in actual tuition time. And then for pre-planning and classes, it's an additional maybe 2 hours. So in total, I work around 8 to 10 hours a week. My target age audience is, or the grade audience, started from around 6th grade to 7th grade. And then I quickly expanded to all the way from 6th grade to currently 9th grade, or sometimes even 10th grade I've taught before. And my majority of students are focused around 8th and 9th grade. So high school, or early high school going into high school students. So for my high school specifically, there is a different grading system for classes. So for example, English is split up into non-native and native, and then within native you have standard, standard plus, honors, and honors plus. So what I had going for me is I've been in honors plus classes basically my entire life in this school, so for about 7 years.
So she's taking stuff that she knows and she's teaching it to people that are lower than her, and I mean that's this lesson right here goes for so much. If you've learned something, you might think, oh, I'm not the best in what I do, but you're better than some people, and you can teach those people that are lower than you, and you can help them out. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm sure you know something that you can teach.
So I didn't know what the most difficult material would look like. So at the beginning, my target audience were either people who were struggling in these Honors Plus classes, or kids who were in honors who wanted to go to Honors Plus, who, you know, they need to take the whole test, they need to improve your grades to be upgraded by a class. So my teaching method is very straightforward. It's, you tell me what results you want, I will devise a plan to get you there, and I have very specific milestones that I will create after I've assessed a student's growth. So I will ask for past essays, past like testing, past writings, whatever, and then I will give them my personal score.
It's really smart the way she does it, because she's going and kind of future pacing them and saying, okay, this is the goal that you want. Okay, let's look at the goal that you want, and let's see how we get you there.
And then I'll also take their like school grades into account. So this is my price breakdown as of right now, after 3 years of working in this field. So I definitely did not start off with this number, but this is where I am now. I'll report the numbers in RMB because that is how these kids pay me. And then I will report the total number in USD on the screen as well. So each person pays me 250 RMB per hour. I teach 3 kids per class, so you times that by 3. I teach 7 to 8 classes a week, so that's 8 times 750, which is around 6,000 RMB. Counting 1 month as having like 4.5-ish weeks, for example, then that would be 25,000 RMB per month, which would total to 3,848.88 USD, according to like today's exchange.
That's decent money for teaching not a lot of hours. That's great.
This money is my personal savings. I save at least 40% of this money for the past few years, and the rest of it goes partially into my rent, but I cover my living expenses purely from YouTube and some other freelance side jobs that I do, like my redrawing, I do some photography, as well as like interest on some of my investments. That's it. So I don't live off of this money. I don't count it into my living expenses other than rent and utilities, which are like the big ones. So I first got started when I was in high school. I have a brother who is 4 years younger than me, and it kind of started off as me kind of tutoring him naturally during my junior year of high school, so when I was an IB student. And at the time, his friends came over one day to our house and they were prepping for a debate competition. So I was just like, I do debate, like I did debate and I was decently good at it, so I'll just give you some pointers. So I sat there and it turned from like 1 hour session to like a 3 hour session, and then they were coming to my house regularly. And then one time
she obviously has a passion for teaching, which is, I think, important. Like, she's good at this. But still, I mean, she's just teaching something that she knows.
My brother was like, oh, some of my other friends want to join in on your session too. And I was just like, okay, well, this is becoming kind of a project. So I talked to my mom and she was like, you know what? Why don't we pick some sort of subject that you're good at or you're interested in? And you just, you know, should start tutoring Jake and his friends. That's basically how it started. It really started to take off. I started to take more students around senior year of high school. So this was after I'd already gotten into U Chicago. So the only thing I had to worry about were IB classes. So I had a lot of free time on my hands, essentially. I decided to start, you know, going to school, staying after school a little bit more to tutor these like kids one-on-one. So in the beginning, it was kind of disorganized. I just kind of asked my brother's friends, like, is anyone interested? I just charged them like a really low rate, lower than US minimum.
$7 an hour she was charging. But it's really important, though, by the way, that we understand that she's now not just limited because of the internet. She's not limited just to her brother's friends. She can teach anyone in the world, which is amazing. Like, now you can be sitting in your home in the United States and be teaching people in China.
Wage actually at the time, but it was more because I just want to experience, and also because it was super fun for me. I really love English writing in general. I mean, I'm writing a book. At that time, I only took around 7 to 8 students in total, and it was more like one-on-one sessions. But I quickly realized that I didn't like one-on-one. One, because it was too much dependent on this individual student. And second of all, each student's strengths and weaknesses, I feel, can be more easily expedited. Like, their improvement can be easily expedited by having other students in the same group, right? It's like, I think some people just study better when there's another person similar in grade, similar in level, maybe better or worse in some other things. And when you put them together, you teach them together, they kind of like rub off each other, they get more energized, it becomes like a friendly competition. It's just, I think a group environment was better. So I mentioned that my growth particularly happened the summer before college and like the latter half of my senior year in high school. And the reason for that is because it was near finals time. So it was like the big test that kind of showed like my students' improvement. And to my like really, like it was amazing. But to my surprise, a lot of my students either succeeded in like going up by a grade. So like the honors students went to honors plus, the standard plus students went to honors, or they had like gotten the highest final scores they had ever received.
All right, so there we go. She's got a business, she's promising results, and she's getting results for people. So now she's got great testimonials. She can come back and say, look at the results I've gotten for these people. And then, of course, she's going to get more customers. She can raise her prices. Classic business model.
And so we got an overwhelming amount of like positive comments from the parents of these children, and they were just really happy in general. If you didn't know, there are a lot of like WeChat group chats featuring just like parents, and so these parents were sharing like, oh my god, my daughter / son got amazing grades this time, and it's all thanks to like Chloe. So all of a sudden I had a lot of business, and
if you provide a good service, you're going to get a lot of business.
I really needed to figure out what my limits were. And I kind of mentioned this in my gap year Q&A video, but that's why the summer before college, I just worked a lot because I just kind of wanted to figure out what was comfortable for me, what was too much, what was manageable, and all of that. And this is also the time where I started devising my lesson plans. So I will put a sample of my lesson plan here. So I teach text by text, which means I will select texts either based on your curriculum in school or just stuff that I like and I think you will benefit off of. And then I will teach you everything from like analysis to reading to comprehension, and then ultimately to outlining, writing, and planning and editing, right? So this.
And now that she's done it one time, she can use that over and over again. So she doesn't have to do the work every time.
This is kind of like my process. So what ended up happening was I settled with around 5 to 6 groups of 3 each that I wanted to take with me when I started college. And so that's exactly what I did. The time scheduling was really painful because throughout college, because of time difference, obviously it's like a 13-hour time difference, I can only teach them either their weekday nights, so my weekday mornings, or their weekend mornings, aka my weekend nights.
Yeah, especially if you're teaching people in different countries, you're going to have to make your schedule probably more according to what they want because they're the customer. So it can be a little difficult.
Both of those options were kind of detrimental to like a first year college student, right? Because like it's either one, like wake up at 7 a.m. every day, or number 2, your Friday nights and Saturday nights were just gone. So for me, I had to make a lot of like sacrifices in order to keep up my streak, but I really didn't want to stop teaching.
People that are successful make sacrifices. It's the ones that say like, oh, I don't have any time for this, but they're out partying and just watching TV all the time and like not really focusing on their business. Those are the ones that say, oh, it's too hard, I can't do it. But it's the ones that make the sacrifices that actually get results.
So I decided to stick with the morning method. So there were multiple days in a week when I had to wake up at 7, even though my earliest class was at 10 a.m. I had to wake up at 7, get my lesson plan ready, get my like tutoring ready, review all the notes I've taken for each student, and then teach them for an hour. And then move on to the next student and teach them for an hour. So it'd be like 7 to 8, and then 8 to 9 a.m. And I would rest for an hour, and then my class would start at 10. So right now, I've kind of changed the schedule to make it their weekend mornings, aka my weekend nights. So basically Friday and Saturday from 8 p.m. to like past midnight, I'm not available at all. That's the sacrifice I have to make for this, which I don't even view as a sacrifice.
Well, she's making a ton of money, so I think she's really smart.
Because I genuinely enjoy teaching so much. I have scaled down my operation. Actually, I'm sticking to my 7 to 8 classes a week, and I'm not currently taking newer students. However,
I wonder if eventually she's going to take on teachers and run her own school. And if she can do that, then she won't be the one that actually has to do the teaching.
So for you, if you didn't study in China and you don't really have access to this market, or you don't really want to, I think just as a general rule, tutoring is just a really solid method for earning some extra income at your leisure. It's not really like a minimum wage job where you have to work like a 9 to 5. But it does have some requirements, right? Like you need to have some sort of like experience or testimonials or some sort of background. And of course you have to be like good at whatever subject it is that you're teaching. So there are some innate requirements, but I personally think that if you're a good student, you study well, you did well in high school, this is definitely something you should go into. I wouldn't recommend this as a full-time job for anybody because it's a little bit too volatile for my taste. Going on like Fiverr just to kind of test the waters, I think is a great idea. You should charge very low prices to get people to
you could charge on like Fiverr and get some people on there to get some testimonials.
To hire you, and then just see how it is like tutoring people online, because it is a weird process you have to get used to. But I would suggest you try that out first at like lowballing yourself, but you're doing it for the experience just a little bit. So do that. And after you kind of figure out your teaching style and niche, you can either, one, look to your high school and offer to teach kids of like a lower grade in a specific subject, or two, find agencies. But just a word of caution, please don't be on the side that kind of like cheats people out of their money by not putting a lot of effort into their classes. And that's kind of the thing I wanted to end with. It's like every time I tell people that this is the amount of money I make, this is the students I teach, they immediately assume that you're like cheating Chinese kids out of their money. But if you've seen me teach, you know that this is not an easy process.
And you're not going to get good testimonials. The reason why she's successful is, I'm telling you, because of those testimonials.
I've done this every single week for multiple hours for 2.5 to 3 years, which is actually more than I can say for any other thing I've done regularly in my life. And I think consistency is something that people don't really think about when they think about how hard it is to do something. I think that applies to like YouTube or Twitch and stuff like that too, where it's like you really have to be consistent with something that you really like in order to do it well.
So I hope you guys like this video here today. I think it goes to show you that this is kind of a little bit of a niche thing, like teaching, but you could definitely teach. I think English is an amazing thing. Just conversational English is something that anyone can do. I've actually done it myself. So I'm not an amazing conversationalist by any means, but you just sit down, you talk to people, just when they say something, you correct them, and just they just want to sit down and have a conversation with you. There's tons of places. If you just search for teach English as a foreign language online, you can find tons of places where you can actually do this. Go to a place like Fiverr, go to Upwork. There's tons of people looking to learn how to speak English there. You can find people to teach as well. If there's something else that you want to teach, I mean, just show, again, like I told you guys before, there's always people that are at levels lower than you are. So a prime example is I can do these videos where I'm switching around and adding in things like little things like this where it says like and subscribe, and like people are like, how the heck does he do that? I can go in and make my video go like that, like really automatically, and I'm doing this automatically. This isn't editing after. I'm doing these things just after in my or during the video, and people are like, wow, how does he do that? So like you could teach people like that kind of stuff, like that thing that I just showed you right there. I could make a course about how to do review videos or how to do reaction videos like that. So anything that you could think about that you can do, definitely go ahead and do that. But don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps out with the YouTube channel, and I appreciate it. And subscribe and hit that bell notification. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in my next video. Thanks.